Hi, and welcome to Stick Grenade Studios. Today we're going to look at something really special and really old. We're going to look at a Tomb Kings Blood Bowl team. Now, this was actually bought by my wife for me probably 2 years ago, and I haven't done anything with them so far. But Blood Bowl is a game that I hold dear. There's a lot of pieces in this set. It's a recast. It's not one of the very first ones that they came out with. So we're going to look at the pieces here. There's a lot of pieces to this set. It's probably one of the most difficult sets of Blood Bowl guys that I have ever put together. As you can see, there's lots of pieces. They're all metal. The bases come with it. They don't really set up that well as far as fitting the pieces into the bases because they're an old mold, and GW has those. But we're going to go through things, and I'm going to show you how to fix that. So walk with me through this journey, through this new video. First of all, I'm going to show you how to scrape these bases out. Now, you're going to want to take a hobby knife, and you're going to want to kind of just carve off pieces of that. Sorry about my thumb. I'm new to YouTube, and I don't know how to film yet. But they say just start and film, so that's what we're doing. And right here, you want to take off just a little bit off the sides of these bases. Then when you're done with that, you want to go into the flash. When these models are molded, they always have lines on the sides of them. You got to get that off of there. When you go to paint a model like this, it's going to show up if you don't get that off of there. It's difficult with metal models, the plastic models that they have out there. A lot easier to get the flash off of, but the same technique really applies. You just do it like that. Scrape it off of there. It can be difficult. Make sure you don't cut your hands. Safety first, safety first. We all have scars from these things. When I first started putting this model together, I got it in the bases, and then I found out how difficult it was to actually glue these models together. I wanted to just put some glue on them, put the tops on them, and go. But the glue I was using, which is gel super glue, which usually works really well, did not want to hold. So I had to come to a conclusion with that, something I didn't really want to do. I didn't really want to pin these models, but I guess that's what I'm going to do. Here's an example of what happens when you try and glue them without a pin in them. You just kind of have to hold it there. I didn't really want to hold it for an hour because that's probably how long it was going to take. So I moved on to the next step and started making pins. First thing I had to do, though, was I had to cut all of these bodies, the torso parts off of these metal sprue thingies. Using an old set of clippers, you don't need anything fancy. I bought this set of clippers at a hardware store in Oshkosh, Nebraska, probably 25 years ago for $1.25. If that gives you any idea as to how the prices have gone up. But I've kept them just the same. They still work really well. Built lots of models with them. That's what one of the torso parts look like. And here we're going to show you the basics of drilling these out. Now, use a pin vise and a very small drill bit. You want to go into, I went into the spinal column there. The key here is push hard. Don't ram that drill bit into your fingers if it slides off of there. And don't drill so far that it goes through the top of the guy. You want to just go in very, very shallow, depending on how long you want your pins to be and how big the figure is. Like right here, I'll show you. This is all the bigger that I made my pins for these guys because there wasn't a lot of room to work with and drill these out on the leg part of it and on the torso part of it. Only about that big, and it just barely fits in my fat fingers. This video right here, my original footage got destroyed, so I had to put a head on the guy. It's kind of a before. And this part comes after, but it gives you the general idea of how you pin a model. And it just fits right in there. And then you'll set the head or the body torso on the top of it. You're going to want to put a bead of glue on this face right, or on this base right here. That way it won't fall out of your base. It doesn't hold really well. Metal and plastic, they'll stick together if you use super glue, which is what I'm using, but you know, you do have your failures here and there. But since I widened this base out, this should fit in there just right. May take a little pressure to get it in because these old GW bases aren't the easiest to work with sometimes. The newer ones work pretty well because they don't usually use that side part. But that guy went in really good right there. And as you can see, there's 10 guys right there ready to be pinned and put together. And I hope you stick around for part 2 because this is what they look like when you're done. Part 2, I'm going to go into more assembly of the figures, and we might get into a base coat of how to do this. So right now I'm going to show you how I put the torsos onto the leg portion of it. Real simple and easy. The drilled out holes just fit right there, and you should be able to just stand them up after that. Hope you all like and subscribe. Thanks for spending time with me at Stick Grenade Studios. Hope I taught you something. Bye.